Hey guys, welcome back. So today we have a budget AR10 that we want to show you guys. Now, if you go back to our SHOT Show 2020 coverage, we talked about Del-Ton and we took a look at this 308 rifle that they were bringing to market with its M-LOK rail system on it, 18-inch barrel, has a 1-in-10 twist. It is a chrome moly barrel. It has a M4 receiver extension back here, so it uses standard M4 accessories, and we'll talk more about that here momentarily. So it has that step-down bolt that you would have seen in the old DPMS G2s. That's the type of system this rifle works on as well. It has a forward assist and nice fenced magazine, mag release, and it uses standard SR25 type magazines, or P mags, which we're using out here today, and a standard A2 grip. On top, we have a primary arms Prism scope. This one is actually set up for 7.62 by 39 300 blackout, but I had it on hand, so I stuck it on here. And it's, again, a 3-power ACSS reticle primary arms sight. We use these quite a bit and really actually like them quite a bit. So this rifle also has a full-length gas system on it. It is direct gas impingement. They call it a standard length. To my knowledge, there's no such thing as anything that's standard on an AR-10 because it never really reached that point, but it is definitely a long DI gas tube on there, so as you would expect from a full-size rifle. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of 308 because of the ammo shortage that we've had. And so we're going to be doing some shooting, keeping the ammunition that we consume to a minimum. Sorry guys, we're not going to be able to do 5,000 rounds to this gun anytime soon. Not until things change in terms of the ammunition market. But we have some Fiocchi 150 grain ball, and we have some American Eagle 150 grain ball. And the American Eagle comes from Federal. Federal supplies the ammunition free to the channel, and we'd like to thank them for their support of our efforts here at the Military Arms channel. So please be sure to check out Federal Ammunition. Been shooting that ammo since I was a kid. All right, so I have 10 rounds of the Fiocchi 150 grain ball loaded up into a standard PMag. We have already sighted the rifle in. We've been shooting it. Going to talk about some of the things we like and dislike about it. But again, we're not going to be able to give you information as to the long-term durability right away until we have, it's probably going to be 6 months to a year before we have access to ammo again, unfortunately, where we can actually run this thing hard. So let's start off shooting some of these 150 grain pills at a challenge target 100 yards away. All right, so I will say we've been shooting the rifle. We've not had any malfunctions of any kind with the gun. I know that a lot of folks kind of look down on Del-Ton, but they've been around for quite some time. They've been, making parts and rifles and kits. They're known for their kits, which we talk about in our SHOT Show 2020 coverage. And so it's really interesting to see what a budget AR-10 looks like, and this thing costs less than $1,000. I believe what they told us at SHOT Show, this thing is going to hit right around 960 bucks or something like this. Now, in full disclosure, they did send me this rifle for evaluation, so I have no money in this gun, but that's not going to change our opinion of it in the long term. So anyway, let's get some more magazines loaded up. We'll stretch its legs out to 200 yards, 250 yards, and just have some fun with it this afternoon. And at the end of the video, kind of give you our final thoughts. We would like to thank our friends at Big Daddy Unlimited for helping to make this and other videos possible. If you'd like to help us out, swing by the BDU website, and just for 99 cents, you can try out their service for 1 month. And they're basically like the Sam's Club of the online world. So check them out. If you would like to stay a member, go by militaryarms.org. There's a big link right at the top of the website, and you can stay a member for 20% off every month going forward. So please check them out. Let's take the rifle apart and see what it looks like on the inside. First, the magazine is out. If you take a look here, you can see the magazine well is beveled. So mag's out. Now we're going to check the chamber. Put it on my knee, push down on the bolt stop, lock it to the rear, check the chamber. Gun is empty. It's also worth noting when you're looking inside there are cuts on the receiver itself, the lower receiver. So it has M4 type feed ramp cuts in the gun. Now that I've checked and made sure that it was empty, I'm gonna let that bolt go home. Just like any other AR-15 or AR-10, You have 2 push pins that are captive that you can use to take the gun apart. Pop that rear pin out. Inside we have pretty much standard AR-15 ferret trigger assembly, M16 style hammer with the sear cut off the back, sear notch cut off the back. Nice reinforcements here. We have a standard M4 buffer tube, and here's the castle nut with the staking on it. Let's go ahead and take that buffer and recoil spring out and take a look at that. So here we have a standard H1 buffer, and then a carbine length recoil spring. You can see how heavy and thick those recoil springs are. As a comparison, this is a 5.56 recoil spring out of an M4 carbine. All right, while we're talking about the rear end of the gun, you're probably wondering why this thing's in frame and why it's laying on the table. This is the stock that the gun came with, and with continued shooting, this stock made the gun unpleasant to shoot. It was really biting into my collarbone, couldn't get it in a good pocket when I was shooting it from the bench, and it was just uncomfortable. And so we had a B5 stock. We thought, what the heck, let's stick the B5 on there. Completely changed the dynamic of the rifle. It is a pussycat to shoot now. It's hard to believe a stock can make that big of a difference, but really picking up the right accessories can really change the dynamic of a firearm considerably. And in this case, the B5 certainly did, making the gun far more pleasant and fun to shoot. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, pull on the T-handle, take the bolt and carrier out. Here's the T-handle. If you take a look at the bolt carrier, it's nice and big and thick, 308 size up front. Has a big 308 sized bolt. And then as we come back here, it steps down to a standard M4 5.56 profile carrier. And that's how it can work with a standard M4 receiver extension. Notches there cut for the forward assist, which it does have as well. Taking a look at this, it looks well machined. Lines are clean, finish is nice and even. Taking a look at the gas tube, you'll see that it's properly staked. To take it apart, it's just like pretty much any other AR-15 or AR-10. Pull that cotter pin out, drop the firing pin out, take your cam pin out, pull the bolt out, and you're done. In the case of this gun, we took the extractor out, and we'll show you a picture of what it looks like, but it has a double O-ring and spring inside there, and putting it back together will make you invent cuss words, and we wound up using a punch to get it back together. So during normal maintenance, you probably don't need to take that out. If you need to replace it, then you could replace it. Just know that it's going to take a little bit more effort than a standard AR-15 to get it back together again. So to reassemble the rifle, all you have to do is reverse the process we just showed you, and I'm sure you guys are already familiar with an AR-10 and AR-15. We zeroed this rifle with the Fiocchi 150 grain ball. We've been shooting some of the American Eagle. It's shooting about 6-7 inches left of the point of aim versus this hitting point of aim. We don't have any match ammunition. The ammo crunch has really hurt us in that regard, so we're not going to be able to shoot groups for you guys with match ammo perhaps down the road. This gun has been left with me for long-term testing, and we'll shoot it every opportunity that we get in the future, and I definitely will try to put down some groups for you guys. It should do okay. I mean, it has a non-chrome lined 1-in-10 twist barrel, so it should perform fairly well with match ammunition. Good hunting ammo, it should perform well as well in that regard if you want to use this rifle for hunting, which at this price point, I think it would make a great 308 hunting rifle. All right, so we have some of the Fiocchi loaded into the magazine. Let's walk her out to 200 yards here. All right, so it's a little bit punchy. I have 308s that don't quite kick as much as this. It does have that full-length direct gas impingement gas system on it, but it does not appear to be over-gassed. So it probably has something to do with the buffer assembly being shorter than perhaps other AR-10s I've fired. But it's not uncontrollable, and with this B5 stock, it's not uncomfortable. The M-LOK rail section out here is, going to give you mounting points all the way around, and then it has a 1913 rail across the top of the handguard, which has got lightning cuts in it to kind of reduce the weight, but it does have that heavier profile barrel. When you're talking about a rifle like this for sub $1,000, you're going to run into little things like, this is totally nitpicky. The fitment issue, the handguard, the rail, how it butts up against the receiver there. There's some light, big deal. It's still 100% functional. So if you're going to spend $1,000, don't expect, LMT quality. But the gun runs, and we've not cleared a single malfunction out of the rifle, and run it mostly dry. I put some LPS oil on it, but that evaporates pretty quickly. It's not a very durable lubricant, and yet the rifle continues to function. And that's with the ball ammunition. So we don't have a very wide variety of ammunition that we can test it with, but with the ammo we have, it's safe to say that the gun works 100% for us. So I know what you guys are going to ask. Does it take Glock magazines? No, uses SR25 or P-mags for 308 type magazines. How does it 80s hip fire? Well, let's find out. Quite well. I always love doing that. We've put 300 rounds through this gun of Fiocchi and Federal ammunition, mostly the Fiocchi because that's what we zeroed the gun to, and we've had no malfunctions with the rifle in those 300 rounds. We've ran the gun mostly dry. We did put some LPS oil on it, but that oil evaporates fairly quickly. It's back to being almost dry again, but even then on the internal components, it's not showing a whole lot of wear. So it seems like the gun's pretty well built for its sub $1,000 price tag. Now it is the DT10 is the model number for this rifle, and there's different variations of it that you can pick up, but you'll have to go to the Del-Ton website to find out more information on these guns and where to find a dealer if you're interested in one. Again, they also sell parts kits, which was something that they were wanting to talk about quite a bit at SHOT Show 2020, and that's for people wanting to do AR-15 builds right now. It's quite popular. People are trying to put guns together, buy guns, because everybody's panic buying at the moment. The gun does feature a 7075 T6 aluminum forged upper and lower receiver for the amount of money that you're going to pay for it. It does not have the chrome lined barrel, but it's a 1 in 10 twist inch chrome moly barrel. Has the A2 type bird cage out there, the M4 buffer style. This black anodization is nice and even. There's no machine marks anywhere on the gun that says that there's some sort of a problem in the manufacturing. Slight fitment issues. There's some finish damage from the pin where they drove the Ford Assist in. Doesn't quite fit perfectly up front, but that's the most nitpicky stuff you can find for the rifle. That, and it does seem to kick a little bit more than other AR-10s I own, but with the addition of the B5 stock, it totally changes that dynamic. Guys, if you'd like to have more videos like this, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. We're supported by you, our viewing audience. Please click the link in the video description below and check out some of the incentives. And again, become part of our Patreon family. Alternatively, right here on YouTube, there's a little join button underneath the video player. Give that button a click and become part of our YouTube membership family, again, right here on YouTube. And last but not least, guys, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. And we want to thank you, of course, for 12 years of support, rapidly approaching 13 years. It's been a crazy ride, guys, but we couldn't have done it without you. Please be sure to like and share the video and comment down below. It helps with the algorithm. We'll talk to you guys soon.